Morning, guys. Quick little shop update here. I got a little quick project I'm doing today, so I thought I'd give you a little quick update real quick about what's been going on. This is the state of the reloading room, the gun room at this point in time. We've got most of the stuff in here that's coming in here. I got all my lubricizers and stuff mounted on the walls, my trimmers, that kind of stuff. So things are kind of sitting in place. The project for the day is risers for underneath the 366s. I got the aluminum for those. They're already cut and deburred. Project for the day is just to simply drill them out and get them sandblasted and powder coated. I got enough for 3 sets of them. I need 2 sets here. So I've got quite a few little projects planned for the 366 yet this year. Update on the rest of the shop. The out there is just torn to crap. I've got the lathes set pretty much in place where they're going to go, although nothing's been re-leveled or anything. Casting areas getting some improvements, and I think we're going to do some more improvements there. The main focus for this next year, for 2026, is going to be to finish up, hopefully, most, if not all, of the projects that I've started and not finished. You know, I got several Atlas projects that need to be finished. I got a grown-up corn tool and cutter grinder. Atlas stuff, I still got to finish my index centers. And there, I said before, I want to finish getting the other Sheldon lathes finished rebuilt, which is one of the main priorities right now, is to finish it up. But we've got the shop to where it's going to be organized enough to where we can start working out of it. I got to where I can be working out of it again now. So we've got milling machine to finish building, and we've got to start scraping it in. But the main project for once we get back out into the shop is to finish up that Sheldon lathe, so I've got it up and running. Once that's done, why then we can move on to other stuff. But anyway, like I say, first project for the day is going to be, for today anyway, is going to be these risers for underneath the Hornady 366s. Like I say, the reloading room's kind of organized for where it's going to be. All of that stuff's pretty much where it's going to sit. The 366s are going to sit here. Yet this year I've got one of my bench rests that I need to finish out. I've got one casting that's been done and had a functional bench rest, although it wasn't done. When we start on that again, which will probably be later today or tomorrow, we'll video that and I'll show you what I've got going. It's my designed bench rest. I've shot on one of them for a whole lot of years, and I've got a few other ones out there in the wild now that are being used. But I've got one more casting and some parts here, so all those parts need to be combined so they're not taking up space in a tub sitting on a shelf someplace or on the floor or something like that. But anyway, that's kind of what's happening. I don't have any other great revelations, I don't think. Reloading manuals have made it onto that shelf, and most of my reloading manuals are there. I've added a couple of books just because I had space, because I've got a stack of books back here behind that I don't know where they're going yet. Probably not in here, but good reference material that I still keep and hang on to. So anyway, that's kind of what's happening. I'll show you as we go along. I don't think there's any reason to video these risers. It's simply a matter of transferring the bolt patterns onto these, drilling them out, and then we'll drill them and deburr them, and then we'll just sandblast them and powder coat them. So we'll show you maybe some along the way, otherwise we'll just show you finished product. It's kind of what's happening, so I'll bring you back in a bit. Alright, so here's all 3 sets of them. That's the way they look. They end up with 2 holes in each side, and I just set them up in the mill. I drilled straight on through, and that's the way they were originally made. Now the difference between mine and the factory ones is I discovered, and I didn't realize it, was the factory ones that I already have, which are, I've already got it mounted back up there again. They're steel, whereas these are aluminum plates. So I'm going to get these wired up and take them out and powder coat them and throw them in the oven. Now I'm not going to show that because I've shown powder coating before on the channel. If somebody's interested in it, leave a comment for me and I can do another video, because I'm powder coating all the time. We've always got stuff going on. So I've made these as pairs. Had a little variation in length as I cut them off with a cold saw, but they're within 1/32 of an inch. And I made these just a little bit shorter than the factory ones. They're right at 4 inches, but I got them out of the stock that I had, so I didn't want to lose one riser for a 1/4 of an inch total, something like that. So we just this was started out as an 18-inch piece, and it was right on. So I just went ahead and cut it into 6 pieces, which gives me 3 sets, and that's what we're doing. So anyway, I'm going to go out and get these powder coated, throw them in the oven, and I'll bring it back and show you when they come out. Okay, now this is the first place where everything started to go wrong. Here we're pulling them out of the oven now. What had happened was my microphone went dead just because I had not plugged in my wireless mics, and they evidently ran out of battery life. So we'll do a little bit of a voiceover here. I did go back and shoot another clip after this the next day, and it came out okay, pretty good audio, other than the fact that the autofocus on the camera kept shifting. So something else I need to deal with. I haven't had that problem. So it's smaller space we're working out of, and I think that's the main problem with it. I see here on the side of my face I managed to get a little bit of powder off of the red powder coat. But anyway, nonetheless, here. These are the 3 risers. We've got them powder coated up. They came out real well, matched real well and everything. And I shot in this clip. There again, we've got focus starting to shift. And I hadn't noticed that problem with this camera yet, running it on autofocus. I think it's primarily just because I've got such a smaller space. I've got the camera awful close. So anyway, these are the way the Hornadys are set up. The one on the left there is the original one that I had the risers underneath. Now this I just kind of show installing them. It's nothing major here. Depending on where these 366s landed on the bench, the front mounting holes on this press right here, the front holes are lag screwed in because they go into a brace that's underneath there, and the back holes just go through the thickness of the bench top, which is 1.5 inches. So they've got carriage bolts running all the way through, and I think the last 366 has got carriage bolts all the way around running through into the bench. It's just how it fell to lay them out with supports underneath. So here we're just installing them. I don't know, this is standard stuff. I guess maybe the fronts on this one are carriage bolts, maybe the back ones, I don't remember now. Anyway, part of them are carriage bolts, part of them are lag screws. So they'll go underneath there. Now I do go on to talk. I've got several upgrades that I plan on doing to 366s. Now I produced some conversions for these. Hornady originally did a auto index adaptation to their older machines. The later machines are auto index and have swing out wad guides. The earlier machines that are still marked Pacific, and maybe some of the early Hornady machines, had they were manually indexed, and the wad guide was a straight wad guide to install your wad. I had done one original conversion when Hornady was still producing them. They stopped producing that conversion quite a few years ago. I think they had problems with the guys getting them set up right, and probably figured it was more hassle than it was worth. Same way with these risers. These are original risers, or the earliest risers that I've come across. The later risers that they sold were just 4 pieces of some sort of a plastic tubing or plastic pipe that you just bolted underneath. To me, I didn't like them nearly as well. These are a much nicer setup with the I-beam risers underneath them. Anyway, the conversions that Hornady produced, they stopped producing those, and for quite a few years I did castings and built conversions that I installed. I didn't sell them individually for individuals to install. I'm probably going to bring those back, and I'm still going to do the same thing. I'm not going to sell those to be field installed. There's the bottom casting needs to be, well, the base casting and then the main platen that the holes ride on, those both have to be machined, and some modifications made for both the auto index and for the swing out wad guide. And I produced conversions for both of those. I will probably bring those back in the not too distant future, only because I'm interested in the Hornadys a little bit more again now that I'm getting them set up and more readily accessible to me. So I will probably have those conversions available again at some point. They're not going to be a real cheap conversion, and I kind of quit producing them because I didn't really feel it was cost effective to be upgrading them. I felt like you were spending more money than it was really worth to invest in these machines. I still, on some degree, feel that way, but I also think that cost of reloading presses and the things that go along with them, it may be a little bit more cost effective, and some guys may want to do it. So these machines I've already modified. Like I say, the ones that didn't have, at least 2 of these have got my auto index and swing out wad guides on them, and I've got roller handles on all 3 of these now that were my production. Some of the other upgrades I planned for these machines, at least to put on mine, and I don't know if I'm going to offer them or not, is a shell counter that's going to mount underneath the second platen, so it'll, every time you operate, that platen comes down on it and it'll advance. So we've got a shell count to know how many you've loaded. Other things is I've already got the layouts pretty well for the shot and powder hoppers for the larger hoppers that go on. There's been a couple other guys that have offered these over the years with machine platens. I will do castings for both of those, not the platens, but for the shell hoppers. That tower, I'd originally thought I was going to take I was going to model up the whole slide assembly that bolts on top, and I was going to integrate my hoppers in with those. I may still do that, but I'm kind of leaning towards just doing the conversions themselves, doing those castings, and then a little bit of machining that needs to be done and just adding them on. It's going to get complicated if I try and do the whole assembly, only from the standpoint of these top pieces were originally die cast, which I think everything was die cast for these machines, but that top hopper and slide assembly was, or that houses the slide assembly was die cast. So to do those in traditional sand casting, there'd have to be either some cores put in, or I'm going to have to fill some of those undercuts, and I don't really know that it's worth doing that. Fair amount of extra machining on those to do them that way, and we'll just see how I feel at the time. The next actual conversion that I'm planning on doing to this is, or the first one that I'm going to do after these risers are all mounted, is I'm going to do a shell chute to divert the shells out and into a collection bin. Now, originally I was going to put a hole in the back of the bench and do a little casting to divert those shells down through that hole and into a bin down underneath the bench. I've got the underside of that bench so full of tubs and things like that that it's going to be inconvenient to do that. It's still doable, but accessing the loaded shells and stuff is going to be more of a pain. I think I'm going to go back to the original way I had it set up, and I'm going to build a little casting that will still catch them coming out the back, but it will slide the shells, or the shells will roll down that little ramp underneath between the I-beams there underneath the press. It'll allow them to dump onto the front of the machine and into a bin right on the front rail of the bench, and I'll utilize that rail that I've got on there. And that's what we got. Hopefully you find something useful there. Comments, suggestions, leave them in the comments section for me below, guys. And as always, thanks for taking the time to watch.